lot of damage!
Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz Universe, to the channel, and apologies for that rather lengthy intro, which was more than a minute. But you can probably see why I just had to include the entire footage that I selected for the intro. It was just, there was a little bit of shenanigans going on in the chat as well, but this just had to go in with the funny music and the ammo rack. It just made me laugh. Had to go in. It had to go in, and I hope you agree with that. We're looking at Fangs58, who is admiring the sunshine on the nice snow at Dead Rail. And Fangs58 is driving the Leopard PTA. He sent me this game by email, and it was a very fortunate incident. I got two great Leopard PTA replays in the same day, and it was very fortunate. A very rare occurrence of events when two things just kind of happen at the same time. I don't get a lot of good Leopard PTA replays, which might say something about the tank, which can say a lot about how the tank is played by the community.
Yeah, boy.
But yeah, this is now, I think, a trash tank, question mark. I have a very old review on the channel where I was stating that this was the best tier 9 medium tank, question mark. But now it seems that it's not so much the case. And that might not be due to the number of people playing it. It's not Mr. Unpopular. It's not a tank that people don't want to play. It's just a tank that really seems to struggle. Yesterday, Wargaming dropped the statistics on the current update 6.8 on their official Discord server, and they have these really nice charts where they show the tank destroyers and the heavy tanks and the light tanks and the medium tanks on tier 8, tier 9 and tier 10 for the 55 to 65% gamers with average win rate and damage shown. And what they do actually is take that middle of the pack, the big monster unicorns of above 65% win rate. They can make any tank work, they can make any tank look good. The really bottom of the line tankers, they can make any tank look trash, basically. It's just, I mean, they often don't know how to play really well, and I wouldn't say they really suck, but those are the regular players. They seem to do well in some tanks, but they can make any tank look really bad. So they take the middle of the pack, 55 to 65% players, and then they start looking at the average. Oh, no, move! The tank is looking at you, thanks! Oh, that's gonna hurt. That hurts. T92 E1 shooting you. But this tank, the PTA, it's one of those tanks which struggles currently. It's one of the lowest average win rates at the moment, and if you're looking at 55 to 65% win rate players, it struggles to deal damage because it is the second lowest of the medium tanks. It is about tied with the IS-8, which is a heavy tank, and it also sits slightly above the Bechet, the 25T AP Bechet, the tier 9 French light tank. But it sits miles and miles behind the T92 E1, and also miles behind the Foch and also the AMX 30, the tier 9 premium tank, and the Standard B and the T54. And as I said, it's not a tank that a lot of people shy away from. It's not the least played tank, but it struggles to deal damage. And that's not due to the gun, I think, because the gun, once fully maxed out, this tank is really good. It seems to have everything. It has the mobility, it has a great gun, it has good penetration values on its APCR, it has heat shells which you can use to good effect. But yeah, it doesn't have real armor. It has some armor on the front, because you can see that Fangs has bounce one shot, obviously. It has some armor on the gun mantle, but not that much. But otherwise, it's got funky gun depression at the back. You have that raised engine deck. It's just people are struggling with the tank because doesn't seem to be suited to the meta. This is very lucky. This is very lucky. And of course, the guy who was complaining in the chat, the Yak Panther 2, that was the first tank to die. And he will be pretty much low on the list. T20 a defender on the red team as well. Idiots! While he was sitting in spawn. But you can see that the tank struggles to deal damage if you are not capable of relocating quickly. If you are not map aware, then this tank is a bit of a pain. But I still don't think that this is a trash tank. That's why the video is titled Trash Tank ? I quite like the Leopard PTA myself. And I've recently started changing a little bit in terms of the equipment. I have the calibrated shells on it, obviously. I have the gun aim drive on the tank, because the aim time, it's not spectacular. And I decided to fit the refined gun. It is already a good gun. Make no mistake about that, but since it doesn't really have good armor, since you can't really use the gun depression, you need to use it as a very sneaky sniper tank. So look at it as a light tank with no light tank camouflage. It is a medium tank, which of course doesn't have light tank camouflage, but this tank has the armor of a light tank, it has the mobility of a light tank, it has basically everything that a light tank has, except that on the move camouflage. And Trisper here from the 1-UK clan, he's gonna show us how to play this tank really cautiously, and you can see he's being really cautious, like in really cautious. Just sit behind the ridge, wait it out for the gun to reload, only then is he going to pop. Gonna take another shot on this Panther, I think, yes, and then he's gonna miss that one. He's just gonna roll around, ignore the standard B, take a shot on the Panther, get shot by the Panther, and then, yes, there we go. He's going to clear him, get a bounce on the front, and luckily that is a Panther 2 with, I think, the stock gun, the 8.8 gun. That one bounces on the front, but yeah, it's not, you can't really count on bounces. You might catch the occasional bounce on that front plate because that's slightly angled backwards, but other than that, basically everything will go through. And that means that the tank has a low win rate, below 50%. It's the lowest of the Tech 3 Tier 9 medium tanks over the last 90 days. As said, in terms of players, it's actually not that bad, nearly 3k. It's far more popular than the Patton, than the Type 61, than Centurion, than the WZ-120, even sits above the E50. But when you're looking at the damage per battle, it's really low. It is really low. If you're looking at the damage ratio, it's really low. If you're looking at the survival rate, that's really low. It sits in all the bottom places, comparing it to the other Tier 9 medium tanks, Tech 3 medium tanks. And it's especially the damage ratio. All of the tanks, all of the Tech 3 Tier 9 medium tanks can do their own hit points worth of damage and then a little bit more, with the standard B being really strong, 1.28. But this one just doesn't. It struggles to get 1750 base damage out per game. And yeah, you can ram Wolf and nearly kill him, just go around, stay, yeah, APCR, lovely stuff, that's gonna work just fine. And then sit again and reload. And the base is running. The base is running really high. And then the T44 runner says, base! You gotta feel the base. Luckily, with the advent of mad games and realistic mode, there are some people on the game now who do not have any clue whatsoever, and that ST was probably not spotting him. It had to be that KV1, KV5 at the back, KV1. KV5 at the back. And was he AFK? Not, it seems so. He was kind of moving, but does seem that he is AFK now. No, he is not. The ST is moving him. You gotta either clear the KV5 or clear that ST. This guy's AFK now. Just go in, use APCR just underneath the turret, no problem whatsoever. You will punch through, and then on the turret side, stop over there, make the shot count, kill that tank, and then then move backwards. And instead of chasing him, the ST decided, oh, I'll just go back towards the cap. I'll just go back towards the cap to where I was, and Oh, I might be able to win. Oh, look, I've done 15 capture points already. Oh, actually, I'm on 20 capture points. This is looking really good, yeah, but things are going to change. Because Trispy here has loaded the heat, load the gold, straight through the lower plate. I'm sitting behind the bush over here. Oh, the cap has been reset. What's happening? What's happening? I got shot from over there. Let me angle my tank. Thank you. Yes, and cap reset once more. And then the T92 E1 is feeling, he shall be very annoyed. He is very, very annoyed. And these are the two games that have been sent to me in the Leopard PTA, and coincidence had it, as said, that these two games were sent to me in exactly the same day. I do not get a lot of Leopard PTA replays, but I felt I had to show these to you, even though this is Blitz at its finest, with AFK players and clueless players and terrorist popping. It shows what the PTA can do, but yeah, it's a very fragile tank. Crash tank, question mark, maybe not so much, but I think he would want to drive a standard B or a T54 basically, and other tier 9 medium tank except the PTA, because yeah, it may not be that much trash, but it's still somewhat trashy, I think.